Hello everybody, back again with another build video, more specifically a duel build video, because this is going to be a dueling video which I haven't done in many years, which is quite fun to do. Now, before I get into the build, what I want to reiterate is the fact that this is not an expose video. This is literally just for fun, because that's all Duels is nowadays. In my opinion, Duels have lost nearly all of its credibility in terms of skill. The only way, in my opinion, I know everyone has different opinions, is that if you play at a massive disadvantage and you beat your opponent, that's skillful, or you mirror match and you beat your opponent, that's skill. There's too much free raw power nowadays in terms of builds to allow skill to even come close to being relevant in dueling nowadays, and even more when subclassing comes out. But yes, there is no expose at all in this video, because I don't believe in that at all. I don't want any beef with anybody who's involved in this video. This is just to basically showcase the build, and I haven't done a duel video in a long time, and I have to fight people to do a video, so, you know. And GT to all the people who I did fight in the video. Very well played. I would like to say, yes, obviously there was some very good duelists in there that their builds and their CP were just mechanically too hard to even beat, with some of the cancer out there, but the majority of the good duelists that you know, I stalemated with no CP and at high ping. So that's a win, but again, Sorc's very strong, especially on live, so, you know, it is what it is. Put it this way, I could not have done that next patch when Sorc has got nerfed. Absolutely not. It just wouldn't be possible. It's only possible because Sorc's very strong. But anyway, let's get into the build itself. I'll keep it short and sweet. I will hold on. The lady should be the Mage Mundus. I don't know why it does that, but anyway, let's get into the build. I've got 57 in Max Mag. On live, it will be about 61 unbuffed. I'm just doing this on the PTS to give you the full build. Mage Mundus, Ghastly Eyeball, and I am a Breton. Let's get into the build. Ancient Grace again, 511 on the armor pieces, because I want as much max mag as possible, as you'll see with Divines. So 1 medium, 1 heavy and 1 light, all Alfiq, Ancient Grace, Death Dealer's Feet, pretty much self-explanatory. Inner Light on the front bar to give you the more max mag, and Savagery and Prophecy, Crystal Frags, Hardened Ward. This build will not work next patch unless they bring back the heal on Hardened Ward, which I very much doubt they will do, but it worked on live as of making the duel video. Shocking Soul, Endless Fury, Ice Comet, can't swap out for Dawnbreaker, Haunting Curse, Harness Magicka, Degeneration, Streak, Bound Aegis. The reason that you use Bound Aegis is because it works on both bars, and it gives you Minor Protection and Minor Resolve. The smart thing to do with Life Giver in this situation, because you don't want to use a defensive ultimate in a 1v1, it's unhonourable in my opinion. I like to keep it as true skill based as possible, so I never use this. So ideally I should have changed that to Overload, and then used Ice Comet or Dawnbreaker as a combo, but I didn't do that. That would have been the smart thing to do. But yeah, that's the build. And again, I want to reiterate, this is not an exposed video, and well done to everybody that I fought. that you'll see in the video, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one.
The very minds of the people we are trying to save. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Leo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I want to free. No need for my speed, just keep it feeling. I will kill your thoughts, stay back. I said you want to fulfill. I still put us up until you. It's like a drug, no differences in what we have come to me. And just let me touch. Body moving like a motherfucking goddess. In a life goes on a fish, so a body. My mind, now I'm going mad, guess I want it. Baby girl, take me with that body and found it. Some days in the matrix, she got me feeling like a zombie when I'm standing in her presence. Because she is real, Lord, it's my own living. If you can, not the lights in the remix of the setting.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll rot into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the war
necessity. Start the ones who make the speakers, lost the ones who make the reaper rush. I feel like Jesus Christ, who made my sneakers rough. Toes bleeding like I'm a stone and bleaching.